My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Hey, gang, welcome back. Today, our special guest is a real estate syndicator and a fellow podcaster, zooming in from the Bay Area around San Francisco, California, Justin Mills. And Justin's company is called Gold Dragon Investments. Love the name of that. And we're going to talk about lots of stuff. We're going to talk about what he's up to. Specifically, I want to pick your brains about this. This piqued my curiosity, Justin. Mobile home transformation. He's created a fund around that. I don't know what the heck that means, but I want to find out about that and talk a little bit about podcaster to podcaster, how having your own podcast has improved your business so far. So Justin, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Oh, thank you very much, Dave, for having us. I appreciate it, man. It's a pleasure to be here.
Likewise. So Justin, just give us a big picture, zoom out 30,000 feet. What does real estate investing look like for Justin Mills in 2025? What kind of properties do you currently have in the portfolio? What asset class are you focusing on? Just kind of give us big broad strokes.
Sure. So, opened it up originally years back with single family homes, townhomes, etc. Made investment in regards to my company in regards to multifamily houses. So we buy apartments. That's been the primary focus consistently for the last couple of years. We are beginning to expand that into other areas, diversification, also real estate, but diversifying into other asset classes. Hence what you talked about, right? The Mobile Home Transformation Fund, to a degree it's actually about helping investors on the debt side, i.e. they're the lenders, their first position loans. It's better in the cash flow, more consistent, as opposed to getting invested in on and working with the growth of equity, which is common to the benefit of profit on a multifamily investment. So,
okay. So what kind of apartment buildings do you have right now? And are they located in and around San Francisco? Or are they?
not at all. Yeah, I have no desire to invest in California. I'll buy my home here, right? I'll buy properties and cabins, etc. But I don't want to buy rental properties here. That said, currently 2 apartments, 64 and 46 unit, currently in Springfield, Massachusetts. And that those apartments, the thing that I love about my company and the intention, the vision, high level, is to help the investors to get paid, right? I.e. win in the game of passive investing. I'm a big board gamer. You can't tell, but behind me, I have literally 1,000 board games. It's my passion, my hobby.
I was wondering if that's kind of where the name of the company came from and the logo and all that. I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's definitely part of it. It's definitely a theme. And so the idea of, and gold dragons are the strongest of the true dragons, and they go on missions for good. The entire vision is to help the investors get paid, but also everything that we invest in is intended to help the people, right? We want to help the families and the people that we invest. So we want to make the communities better. We want to make, like oftentimes in real estate investment, people forget that these are homes. This is where people literally lay their head after a long day, or where they raise their children, where they celebrate incredible moments and memories in their life. And so the vision is that everything we get involved in is that it's making someone's life better, right? I want win-win in everything we do. And so the Mobile Home Transformation Fund, in that regard, ultimately, we're trying to help people with the affordable housing crisis, because it is one. And all of the parks, there are 8 that are affected by this fund. And those mobile home parks are not only making it more reasonable, i.e. the loans that are being generated are not raking people through the coals, right? So in addition to being able to give them a home at a better rate, we're giving housing to people that have lost their home. There's a lot of people that are affected by Hurricane Helene. And so if their home was destroyed by a tree falling on it or flooded, etc., these are new opportunities, a new lease on life for people to.
Let me unpack this, because I'm getting confused, Justin. All right. So the Mobile Home Fund, is this an up and going thing that you've got going? And my question is, okay, who are you funding? Are you funding the park owners? Are you parceling things out and selling parcels individually so people can buy mobile homes on their own pads? or are you selling mobile? And like, I'm confused. So,
Sure.
so
So,
unpack that.
so the fund itself is intended to directly inject the capital into an existing opportunity that I'm partnered with people
Okay.
who
So
own the
you're
existing house.
partnered with guys that are going out and buying mobile home
They
parks.
already own them. Already
They
own them.
already own them. All right. So
Yep.
you're providing secondary financing for them on these
It's
homes, on these
actually so
parks?
it's operating for loan origination. And so the investors in this particular situation, when they get in, it's operating that capital is used for the loan origination, which is then the money as a first position loan, and the first to get paid is i.e. the investors. It's intended to be able to fund the park and fund the loan for the property. So people can get in on a mortgage that's a reasonably priced investment. They can buy their home at a reasonable rate. And if they do default, which the hope is that they don't, but if they do default in that regard, it's protected not only by the asset, but also backstopped by the park itself.
Okay.
Because the
So
home
yeah,
and the
so
property are
you're
both
you're
owned.
going fast here for me, Justin.
Caffeine is a wonderful
So,
drug.
and I'm a slow kind of guy, so I figure let's understand this. Okay, you've got the fund, and this you're making available to mobile home park owners that own the park, and they're using it to sell individual mobile homes to the end consumer, providing the mortgage for that particular home to the end consumer. Am I getting that right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now it makes a lot of sense to me. So you're not helping the park owners buy more parks. You're helping them to be able to sell individual units they own in the park. You're providing the financing for those to the end buyer. And the nice thing is it's like a bank, it's like a first mortgage. So if the end buyer defaults for any reason, you repossess the property, and in
Exactly.
this case, not really the property, but the tin shack on top of
It's
the dirt, right?
yeah.
Which is a lot easier, if I understand correctly, to do that process because it's not a traditional mortgage. I could be wrong about that, but it's not as much of a hassle. Is that correct?
The answer is yes. It's ultimately the answer simply is yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Okay,
it's
cool.
doing it in such a way that it's making it reasonably priced, right? Because oftentimes the standards for what those loans are,
Oh yeah.
again, I use the term raked over the coals, right? These people are in a bad space. It's not affordable as it is. And living where we do, like, and when I say i.e. in the US, like I
Mhm.
love this country and I'm incredibly proud to be an American. The reality though is unfortunately it's not the most economical place to live in many cases, right? And it used to be, 30, 50 plus years ago, you could work at a Starbucks and still buy a home if you were appropriately frugal and thoughtful about how you invested your money. The reality is it's not like that. I can't expect that my children are going to work a day-to-day, minimum wage job and be able to buy a home where I live.
No. Whereabouts the parks that you currently are working with, whereabouts are they located? What's kind of the average price of the kind of mobile home that they're selling to the end consumer?
Sure. So that's going to be varied on location itself. Almost all
Yeah.
of them are in the east and the southeast itself. There are 8 segregate parks. I can
Yeah.
certainly go into the nitty gritty on
Well,
those.
maybe just the
But
states that they're in. We don't need the nitty gritty, but it's
sure,
just
sure.
just
No,
to
it's
get an
a,
idea of where
sure.
they're
North
located.
Carolina, South Carolina,
Yeah.
Kentucky, and that said, uh, the idea behind it, the cost associated, the intention is truly to help. And so what I
Yeah.
say this and I emphasize it only so much because as I mentioned previous, it's so common that people worry about what is the cost. And so really the only cost that would be relevant in this situation, as far as if anyone were to invest in it, it is a accredited investor. It's 50,000 minimum is what's required. And I say this only because that's what's going to be necessary from an investor level with the knowledge that everything that we're
No,
investing
I,
in.
I was asking what's the cost of the actual mobile
Yep.
homes
It's
that you
it's
guys
gonna
are
it's gonna be
financing?
varied on the location and based on
What's the
location.
range?
So
Give
it's
me
gonna
give
be
me that.
anywhere between 50,000 and up, right? So some are incredibly reasonably priced, some are not, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that would be the
I just interviewed a guy a couple of weeks ago. He he works in California in affordable housing and mobile homes, and he basically helps people renovate their mobile homes. But he's talking $1 million plus mobile homes for crying out loud.
Isn't it funny? Yeah, it's
It's
incredible.
affordable housing in
Yeah,
California.
yeah, yeah. There's a reason I don't invest here, and part of it is bang for the buck, right? It's the
Yeah.
location, it's the cost associated to be able to acquire even just a piece of land, how many zeros you need behind it,
Yeah.
but it's also the laws and rules behind it that make it difficult for investors. I'm all for appropriate rights for people, and I want people to have protections, but I need them to be reasonable on both sides,
Yeah,
right?
for sure. So if I understand correctly, The niche that you guys are filling with this fund is right now, if they didn't have access to financing through you, the end buyer of these kind of mobile homes would have to go to some other kind of financing source that would, the interest rates would be exorbitantly high compared to a single family home mortgage
Yeah.
for a class A borrower, right? So, instead of paying 5% interest, they're probably going to have to be paying, 12, 15, 18% mortgage, almost like, you know, used car loan
Yeah.
type rates.
The,
Is
the, the
that
first thing I
accurate
thought
or
of
am I
was
out to
was
lunch?
uh, was credit cards and like
Yeah.
aggressive like hard money loans, right? Like the
Yeah.
interest rate is just ridiculous.
Yeah. So you're in there and you're able to afford offer a much more affordable rate, and at the same time get your investors a good return on your money.
Yes.
Because again, if you look at the amortization of loans and these kind of things, it can work out pretty well. I don't know if you bundle these things up and sell them off or what you do, but
The
it,
the intent is owning those parks for the long term in that regard as
yeah.
well, right? So
Okay, cool. Well, thanks very much for explaining that. That makes a lot more sense. Mobile Home Transformation Fund. So we're early days in 2025 as we're interviewing, doing this interview. What are your goals for the next year or so, Justin? Where do you see you're taking your business? Are you going to do more multifamily syndications
yes.
or focus more on this fund type thing? Where are you going?
Also, yes. The
Yeah,
reality is the more people that we can help, the better. And so, as far as the long-term vision, before the end of the year, 2025, we'll have 100,000, excuse me, $100 million of assets under management. And we're actively looking for multifamily homes in Tennessee. That's the state, but as far as the locations, there are specific MSAs that are very relevant
yeah,
that we're actively looking in. But that is where our next apartment will be. And then, as far as the aspect of the mobile home transformation fund, I was able to partner with incredibly powerful operators that have been in this industry for 25 years, and just being able to work with them alone has been a wonderful thing because they're fantastic people. As a matter of fact, and simply on my podcast, I do have interviews with both of them, and just you get in my podcast, it's very much just about the person and their story, and that's one of the things that I love so much is sharing those stories, and they have some great ones. So.
cool. So speaking of your podcast, tell us a little bit about your show.
Oh, sure. Thank you. So, Dragon's Gold, the magic of mindset. The entire intention is to inspire, empower, and educate people, right? The idea is to help people know that they can too achieve their dreams. The intention I interview people that have become successful in whatever it is. Doesn't matter if it's real estate, doesn't matter if it's a restaurant owner, an entrepreneur. I have an equine sports doctor, right? A horse doctor on there as well. She's wonderful. But the idea is to share and say that anything that you want to do, you can do. It takes action, it takes grit, resolve, and you just got to keep pushing. And you have to have that dream. And so being able to share that podcast with people it's been a wonderful experience for me in ways that I never anticipated. I've always been a very positive person, upbeat. I move pretty fast. You might have noticed I talk pretty quick, but the idea, the intention, everything I always do, I'm very passionate about. And
Yeah,
so being passionate about this podcast and sharing these stories, it's so incredibly inspiring. I The podcast isn't live yet, but there's an interview that I did where a gentleman unfortunately was diagnosed with cancer. And fast forward, he was able to beat it, and not everyone does. But the interesting point that I loved about his story that he shared is I get up in the morning, I had to walk my dog, I'm tired, the weather's cold, I don't want to do it. Then you're diagnosed with cancer, and then you're like, I get to walk my dog. I'm like,
yeah.
right? Like, thank goodness the sun is
What a
shining. I feel
switch in perspective, huh?
yes, right. And that's the idea, right? Hearing the bird song, the entire intention is that it's the same exact scenario. It's the same situation, but your perspective is what
Yeah,
changed, right?
yeah.
So if you can look at things through a new lens and see things differently, it's incredibly powerful. And while I've always been an optimist, an eternal optimist, failure or not, I love it. It makes my life better. Hopefully, I make other people's lives better by sharing that positivity. But this podcast, being able to share it with people on such a grand scale, has been incredible, and I'm grateful for
Wonderful.
the
That's
opportunity.
good. Yeah, that story reminds me of a book that I'm reading right now. You might check it out as well. You might like I think you'd probably like it, Justin. It's called Loving What Is.
Mm,
Loving What Is. It's by the author. Her name is Byron Katie. Very different name for a woman, but her first name is Byron and her last name is Katie, Katie. Yeah, and loving what is. It's same kind of gist there, right? So love
Thank
it.
you.
Awesome, Justin. So if people want to connect with you, maybe check out your podcast, is there one place they can go to kind of get all things Justin Mills?
Yes, you can go to my website. It's got links for everything, podcast, LinkedIn, etc. My website is golddragoninvestments.com. Golddragoninvestments.com.
Perfect, Justin. This has been a lot of fun. Thanks for being on the show.
Dave, thank you for having me, my friend. I wish you the best.
All right, everybody, take care, and we'll see you on the next episode. Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.